Yeah, after evaluating the film and all the stuff that we taught, I mean, we talked late Friday night, but I mean, I feel like we obviously it's disappointing. We got to move on now and get to work and figure out a way to get this thing turned and trying to get that done. Had good practice, and so all we can do is put in the work and see what happens afterwards. So, any questions?
Coach, what adjustments do you make offensively this week?
Being consistent and just demanding our guys to do it right. And so I don't blame the players; they give us all the effort. So us as coaches got to get it done.
Kalani is inserting Joe with a few minutes left. Is that a sign that you're going to use him moving forward, that he's going to be a part of the offense?
I think he'll be in the mix. We'll see what happens. I think all that really matters is what you do in the games. You know what I mean? And what we've done in practice has been promising. What we've done in practice has been good. I've talked about trying to transition practice into the games quite a bit this season. So really, it's bottom line: just do it in the games and make it work. Otherwise, how much longer do we have to keep working on it? So that's with every personnel, every position. You know what I mean? And quarterback's no different. So I think that what Tanner did in the first quarter was really good for us. But we just need to be consistent as a group, and that's the job for coaches to get it done. So I think Joe being in the mix is because Bo was banged up and is not healed yet, and wasn't able to go last week. And so we'll see how that progresses with Bo as well. So that probably had more to do with it than anything else. And just need to see consistency from all our positions, and quarterback is obviously the most important one for us right now.
What do you like about Joe as quarterback?
Well, I don't know if there's much to see from that one part of the game, but he has a good arm. He goes through his reads right, and we saw a lot of improvement in him since returning from his mission. There's a lot of our guys that got home from their missions that in the last couple of months have really made a strong push in the conditioning and being able to get close to getting closer to get rid of the mission legs, I guess, and he seems to be one that's been pushing it pretty fast, and they got a pretty good pace.
As a head coach, what's your level of involvement with the offense right now?
Oh yeah, I'm in there. I mean, obviously, it's on me. Our offense's issues are my fault. So yeah, I'm in there in the mix with them and trying to get it fixed because it's costing us a lot of issues on the other two phases.
The emphasis from Ty has been, he said from the beginning, to establish the run, that'll open everything else up. The team's averaging 3.5 yards per carry this season. Is that something you continue to build off of, or because it's not been opening things up for the offense, you look at going other directions?
I think right now just trying to get a win, and be consistent. And obviously you have to run the ball and throw the ball, but if we have something that's clicking and working, let's just stick with it, and that's the goal is to try to get points on the board, the ultimate goal, and which will help us win. You can't win very many games just scoring 7 points. And so I'm not telling you anything that nobody else has already heard in the offensive staff and on our team, but we need to find more ways to score points, and if that means with a different matchup and a different opponent, trying to utilize what we think is a good matchup, but we're going to have to establish a run game and what we do as a team and where our strengths are up front. I guess it all depends on what the scheme is in the run game and who's running the ball, and if that has all the factors into it, not just the fact of giving up on the run scheme altogether, So there's a lot of issues that go into it, but we're going to have to establish some kind of physical run part in this offense to be balanced. Our goal is to be balanced, and right now we're not doing anything that's really good. The only thing that we're balanced at is being bad. So
Friday night you said the identity might be in the form of Uluto'o. Is he going to get more carries, or is that just a guy you feel like you guys can rely on a little bit more?
Well, I think hard to say. I think he can run the ball as effective as we need him to, but I don't know how many more carries you want him to do. I thought he'd get more than what he had in the game. So maybe that should be the answer to your question. Yeah, I thought that he's a guy that should get the ball more than 9 times. Yeah, so I'd like to see him run the ball more than that.
I know you don't discuss injuries unless they're season-ending, but can you tell us, have there been any season-ending injuries?
There's some that are close, but still evaluating. Other than the ones, you mean from this game
Just
specifically?
this season, I mean, like Moroni, is he ever going to come back?
It's looking bleak, but we'll have to see. I mean, right now with Moroni, where it's getting is, do you bring him back, and if he's 100%, then yeah, you go because there's a lot of football left. But is he going to be close to 100%, especially when he has a redshirt year available? And so it's kind of in where we're dealing with that issue with him specifically. But yeah, so I guess everything's a case by case. But if he's coming back and he's only 70%, then there's no point in it. You know what I mean? So we're still trying to develop their health and try to get our guys better. But with him specifically, that's the answer to his status.
Tavita is out, though.
Tavita's out. Monga, yeah, he's out for the year.
Lorenzo?
And Lorenzo, he just played this last week, and we're still evaluating him. So he's not written off for the rest of the year yet. Vita is, and he should be good to get his redshirt year in, and he'll be a junior next year.
Has the slow start affected recruiting adversely? Have you seen that, and how do you address that to recruiters?
Recruiting is I mean, it's part of recruiting is just everything included. I mean, there's guys on our team that this time last year no one thought we would get, you know, and whether it's transfers or guys committing and decommitting, that's part of recruiting. That's the goal is to get the best guys here that want to be here, and wish them the best if they don't. So we'll keep recruiting, but I mean, it's a long time. It's signing day. There's a lot of things that could happen, and we're going to just keep, you know, trying our best with recruiting as much as we can and get the best fit for this school and this program.
What do you tell a prospect who expresses frustration with the start? What do you say?
Oh, you're just honest with them. You know, I think that you talk about your culture as a team and what you're trying to build here and what we're trying to establish as our foundation, and that they're a big part of it. I mean, so a lot of these recruits, especially here at BYU, are going on missions right away, and so you know, you've got to talk about the future and where things are going to be. And obviously, we didn't think we'd start with the first 6 games with this record, but I think if recruits only did it by year and how much success the team's having that year, then things may change quickly. You know, so I think for us, just keep focusing on what we're trying to establish as a program, and make that and see if their culture follows what we're trying to do here too. So I want a kid that's committed to being here and living the life that we have here and doing the academics. All that stuff is included. So, but recruiting that's just part of it. Part of recruiting is there's going to be some surprises, positive and negative, going your way. So you just have to keep working with it and be honest with the recruits and their families.
You've used the word identity a lot this season. Why do you think it's taken so long to establish anything like that on offense?
Probably a lot of reasons. I don't know if it's one single reason, but yeah, I'm going to hang it on me. So the kids are doing everything we ask, and I'm not coaching them well enough. So that's what it comes down to.
Second SEC opponent.
But we want to develop an identity. I mean, that's something you can hang your hat on, you know. And as an offense, we want to. I think defensively we kind of have that, but we want to get better. You know, I think last year defensively we were more aggressive, and so we're trying to find ways to create more big plays. Offensively, it's taken a while to develop, and that's my fault.
Second SEC opponent in Mississippi State this week. You had a crazy game with them last year, double overtime. What do you expect them this year?
Well, I mean, the quarterback has another year under his belt. He's a lot more effective, especially in the run game. I mean, he can do some really good things with his feet, and you know, they've had some really good success with him running behind the center. But they're an SEC team that's physical, and they're used to big games, and we're going to their house. It'll be a different deal, but our guys, good time for our guys to go and get some, you know, reflection on who we are as a team, and go into a hostile environment with a lot of cowbells and stuff. So looking forward to the game, and you know, just trying to get this thing turned around, and then hopefully it happens this weekend.
Do you find yourself having to play kind of Monday morning psychologist a little more than maybe when you were a coordinator, just with the slide and keeping morale up and that kind of thing?
Oh, these guys, I mean, the morale's good. I think if you're not in touch with your players and you're not in communication with them, then it could really drop, you know. But our our coaching staff's involved, our players. I mean, we love them, and they're part of our family, so we're heavily involved in talking with them, communicating with them, and so I don't feel that at all, you know. And I know that some people it's hard to believe, but we have a good beat on these guys mentally, and what we think where they're at right now. And there's no quitting them. If there was, you'd see it on the field, and we're not seeing it in practice. We're not seeing it in games as far as effort and buy-in. And so what it comes down to is that you got to coach them up better. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Have the injuries at the linebacker position affected the defense's play as a whole, in your opinion?
I think every injury affects the team, but I mean that's part of college football. Everybody has injured players, you know. And, right now we're testing some of our depth and consistency, testing some of that. But that's at every position, and I'm not going to blame injuries for some of the issues that we have and some of the plays that we give up.
Some of the teams this year have been able to run the ball. I mean, you've always said that's been your emphasis to stop that. And like you said, this is a team that has had success running the ball that you're going up against. Do you look at changing personnel? Do you change the scheme? Like, do you have to try and do things differently because teams have had success on the ball?
I think so. I think you can do a few things that'll help you a little bit here and there, but I mean, that's all part of the game plan and part of our scheme. But we do that every week, you know. But I think the most important thing is that just sometimes it's okay for our defense to give them a long field and just keep working, you know. And I think the costly issues that we're having right now are turnovers, and the fact that the defense isn't able to create turnovers is hurting us as well. So I don't know where we stand in turnover margin, but it can't be great. And half of that, the defensive guys understand is that they need to create turnovers, and that's what they're going to be focused on is being disruptive and, you know, being aggressive and finding ways to make big plays. And our offense is going to be focused on holding onto the ball and making good decisions so it doesn't cost us and doesn't cost our team.
Last couple of questions.
With your defensive background, are you able to lend some kind of perspective to the offense that maybe they're not thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to help out as much as I can, and with some of the issues that we're having. So I evaluated it all, and so I told you it's on me. I've got to do a better job this week and make sure our guys are ready, and that we can have a chance of winning.
We talk all the time about practice and translating to the game. You've seen players that seem to excel under the spotlight over your career. Do you just not have enough guys that are doing that are able to just really step up and excel in those big moments? Because practice and games are different in that sense.
That's true. I mean, you can't simulate a game type of setting other than play the game, and that's why some guys get better experience. But the players are doing everything that we ask them to, and it's our job as coaches to figure out who the guys that can perform on the big stage, you know. And so that's, once again, it comes down to getting the right guys on the field and in the right moment. And obviously, you can't just think that practice is going to be just like in the games. But I think we should have a good beat on a good feel on who can be the guys that can be the playmakers for us right now. I mean, we're communicating with these guys, we're with them all the time, and there's some guys that probably deserve more of a shot than what we've been giving them. And that's, once again, I come back to what we have to do as coaches, whether it's scheme or personnel, it's on us.